Hello everybody, my name is Hawkey, and the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S release dates and prices have been announced. Through tweet, Microsoft announced that the Xbox Series S will be priced at $299 US or 499 Australian dollars, and the Series X will be priced at $499 or $749 Australian. Holy shit, those import taxes though. Both of these consoles will launch on November 10th, with pre-order starting this month on September 22nd. Now, there had been rumors of a lower tier next-gen Xbox for quite a while, but it took a leak of the Series X reveal trailer on Twitter for Microsoft to talk about it a week in advance. Apparently, Digital Foundry had a preview of the console months in advance, and there was also an interview with Phil Spencer where you can see the Series S on the bookshelf in the background, and just nobody noticed. Amazing. Now that we have price and release dates out of the way, let's talk about some major differences. In terms of size, the Xbox Series S is about 60% smaller than the Series X. You'll be able to see that on the screen. Both consoles seem kind of tiny, to be honest. I mean, with the Series S being especially small, according to Digital Foundry, Microsoft were able to fit it inside of a handbag, so if that's any reference to show how small it is, I mean, you know, it's pretty tiny. Next, one of the other major differences is that the Series S will have no disk drive in comparison to the Series X's Blu-ray drive, so you'll have to play digitally or you'll have to get it Game Pass. Another big difference is storage. We are currently looking at 512 gigabytes on the Series S compared to the X's 1 terabyte of SSD storage. Bear in mind that the SSDs will be the same in terms of performance, but in terms of size, they're just smaller. And finally, let's talk about some of the big hardware differences. Now, the CPU is roughly the same with only a slight difference in clock, but the real changes come with the raw GPU power. Now, the Series X is an AMD RDNA 2 GPU with 52 compute units, whereas the Series S only has 20. That's almost double the amount on the Series X. And if that wasn't enough, the Series X has 3 times the amount of teraflops in GPU power. To put that in perspective, it's 12.15 in comparison to 4 teraflops on the Series S. Now, the reason they have done this is because the Series X is going to be the powerhouse of the two consoles, targeting 4K up to 120 FPS, and the Series S will only target around 1440p with up to 120 FPS on its hardware. Considering there's a lot of interest for people to own a PC and then own a companion console, I think having a good strategy of having a Series S, which may not be as powerful, but at least allows you to play certain games that may not be available on PC, it's a decent strategy in that sense. And then for people who primarily stick on console or want to just have a 4K console they can take with them rather than having to lug around a PC, they can go for the Series X. Now, in terms of pricing, I think that there's a lot of things that people talk about. They talk about the raw hardware, and Microsoft themselves said that memory and storage were the biggest concerns when it came to pricing. But I think there's another factor in play. I think the one thing that most people don't consider in this case is that Microsoft have allowed pretty much full backwards compatibility with all their old peripherals, such as controllers. And with that in mind, I think that they've accounted that into the price. The fact that people will unlikely repurchase controllers in the near future because they're going to be using their old Xbox One controllers. At least I believe most people will. I assume most people are pretty cheap and are just going to keep the controllers they have rather than throw them away and replace them entirely with Xbox Series X controllers because they're not too different from each other. Then again, that is just a theory. I have no idea. Personally, out of the two, I will go for the Series X. I have a lot of friends who play on Xbox, and it makes sense for me to continue on this generation. I also own a PC, and I will likely upgrade to the 3000 series GPUs from Nvidia. I don't have any purpose in purchasing a PlayStation 5 yet, just due to the fact that I don't really have any friends on PSN, so I would likely just be buying it for single-player experiences that I really enjoy. I think this split in units is going to make people more likely to upgrade from Xbox to the next gen, but I don't think it's going to sway many people from PlayStation. I think that Microsoft has not shown a massive range of first-party titles at launch. And if anything, people are going to join Xbox later on when there's much larger titles that have been promised in the future. Anyway, those are some of the major differences, some of the big announcements that have come with it. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think you're going to be picking up a Series X or a Series S at launch? Leave your comments below. This has been Hawkey. Take it easy.